are here because we are grieved. A lot of killings have been happening in this state. And then our leaders, let me say, the number one citizen of the state has remained close-mouthed. Mr. President has not spoken about the killings in Benue State. And we know that the primary aim, responsibility of a government is security of lives and properties. And this primary aim, if not achieved, any other aim is secondary aim. And when the primary aim of somebody is being defeated, that means the person is a failure. At this point in time, the Benue youth will have come out in our masses to say this administration has failed us. Our people cannot go back to their farms. Our people cannot go back to their ancestral homes. And these farms are the places where they farm, they labor to feed us, to train us.
Right now we are standing on the dead bodies of our mothers, our fathers, our brothers and sisters. We have become IDPs in our own very country. These killings have persisted for years. A lot of talks have gone on. Only last year, 500,182 people were displaced. We have 21 IDP cars in Benue. These killings won't stop. Up until this moment, nothing is being done. Why? What is more crazy is the deafening silence from our leaders, the duty bearers, the people who are supposed to speak, the people who are supposed to do something. They are silent. Now we want answers. We want to know what is going on.
Hey guys, so I'm just going to go right into this video. You probably have seen the clip that I started with. That's a clip about the current situation in Benue State, in the entire Benue State. So let me back it up a little bit. There has always been this rivalry, this hatred between Fulani herdsmen and the Benue people, who are indigenously, majority of them are farmers, right? So they've always had this dispute about land, water. The Fulani herdsmen are predominantly Muslims. They rear cattle and all that. So they're always fighting, having conflict about where their cattle, where their cows will graze. And now these Benue people are farmers. Farmers need two things, majorly land and water. The cows need land to graze and they need water to drink. So this is the origin of the dispute. This is all what the attack is all about. Benue State is the food basket of the nation, meaning our rice, our potatoes, our tubers, like major sources from Benue State. Our tomatoes, our peppers, our onions, our tubers, name them, our granules, our grains, soya beans, a lot of things that these people farm, right, in Benue State, which gave them this thing as the food basket of the nation. So now imagine a place where majority of the country's demand for food comes from, and yet they are being attacked. They are not being allowed to do what they know how to do best, to farm, make produce and sell, so that there is enough food, there's no shortage, there's no scarcity of any food. And then on the other hand, there are the Fulanis that want their cattle, their cows to graze. So that is just what this whole this whole rift, this whole bloody mess is all about. So we'll take it, this is just taking it back a little bit into what the whole situation is all about, because people are just saying killings here, killings there. On this channel last month, I talked about fresh attacks on the same place, from the same people, Benue people. They were attacked. And this is June, not even 1 month, not even up to 4 solid weeks already. We are talking about killings, a lot of, in their hundreds. The death toll has not been ascertained yet, but the indigenes, the people are saying there are over 200 people that have been killed. This whole clash did not start now. It started as far back as early 90s. It started very many years ago, but it started in bits, small. As far as early 90s, you would see that these people were coming small into the farmlands to graze, for their cattle to graze. Then when they revolted, these same herders back then would now compensate. Sometimes they'll compensate the farmers for the crop damages that their cattle caused on their farmlands, right? They would compensate them for that, and there would be conflict resolution. They will call the truce and go about their business. Then it intensified when the whole north began to become overpopulated. The climate change happened. They didn't have their streams, they didn't have their farms for their cattle to graze, and they felt like the lives of these cattle were more important. Then these people began to come down south. They began to come down to the middle belt, right, where there's a lot of field for them to graze, but not knowing that these are people's lands, these are people's farmlands. And then they came again, and they were, warded off. They were chased out. In fact, at that time in the early 2000s, there was now this anti-grazing law. So these people, when this anti-grazing law was enacted by the state government, it pacified the people of Benue State. It pacified them, so they had that comfort, like, yes, our leaders are after our own interests. They are looking out for our own best interests by enacting these anti-grazing laws. But then the northerners felt profiled. They felt victimized. They were like, why can't our cattle graze? Why can't? But why not? Why will your cattle graze in other people's lands? Why? If you really want these things to happen, if you really care so much about your cattle, you should go to your own people and let your government do something that would benefit your lives, both the lives of the farmers there and the lives of the cattle rearers. You have a state, you have a place, you have villages, your own self. Why leave your own place to come? So they revolted. Anti-grazing, open grazing law was against any open grazing. Cattle rearers, they didn't prohibit them 100% from coming out or from using their land, but let there be a ranch style. Create a barricade. Don't just let your cattle roam freely. And I am telling you, this also in many other states, even in the eastern states, they also encroached. When even here in Lagos, you would see cows just roaming freely in the streets, on the highways. Several times I've had to, like, you have to be very, very, it just takes the grace of God for you not to be run over by a cow. They roam freely on the streets right here in Lagos. What started small, okay, don't graze freely, create a ranch instead, let these animals be contained. They said no, that you're profiling them. How is that profiling? So what was supposed to be conflict, what was supposed to reduce this conflict, just backfired and escalated it. It led to killings, it led to burning properties, it led to displacing people, it led to all sorts, and that is where we are at now. This whole killing started without intervention from state, from no form of authority, people in authority, both the traditional rulers, the governors, the presidency. There was no form of intervention, and so it persisted, it continued, and it worsened until we got to this point that we are in now. Talking about the Yelwata people in Benue State, they were at the villages, they were in their houses at about 10, almost 11 p.m., 10:45 p.m. They first of all went and tried to disarm the police stations just next to them. They went there, the police people engaged them in fights and warded them off. But they did not know, unknown to them, there was another set of people that had already invaded the town, right? And these police people were not aware of that. They thought they had just fought them off, disarmed them, overpowered them in that sense, not knowing that there was more of them already in the town doing the damage. So what happened was that people were already in bed. In this settlement, it's not a city, so there is no hustle, there's no life at that time of the night. It was almost 10:45 p.m. People were sleeping in their houses, and just to think about how someone's life is being taken from him, and without giving a fighting chance, without giving a chance to survive, to even try and escape, without giving a chance to try and fight off their attackers. They were in their sleeps, deep in their sleep. They broke down their doors, poured in a good amount of petrol, and set it on fire. Different houses, many houses. We saw videos of children burnt beyond recognition, burnt down to ashes. It was just their skulls and their bones that were left of it. But from the bone sizes, you would tell that these are little children. Then there were some that were not even completely burnt out, but then you can tell that yes, these are young ones. Burnt burnt them, went to where they store like the community, Yelwata community, went to where they have like their food banks. So when they farm, they store. When they have produce, when they've harvested, they store this produce in a certain food bank, as something like that, like a makeshift food bank. Then they went there and burnt it down. And it just took my mind back to a post I saw over the weekend, this past week, about a call to fast. The government calling on us to, if I find a picture of it, I'm going to attach it, right? A calling on us to fast and pray over food shortage and food scarcity in Nigeria. Now, it is not, it looks like a coincidence, but I don't want to believe that it's that inspiration or that idea for us to fast for our farm produce, for us to have enough produce, enough food to eat in the coming years, in the coming months. I don't think it's far-fetched. I feel like this whole attacks do not happen independent of some certain key people in government. That is why this talks, this fast and pray for Nigeria, it was going to be a 3-day fast starting today, Monday. And then just 2 nights ago, a community, a predominantly made farming producing community was taken and people were displaced, running helter skelter. There were videos where people, mothers, children were just carrying what is left of their belongings and walking down the road, hopelessly. They don't even know where they are going. If you're running away and you're running to a destination, you know where you're going, right? That gives you some sort of relief, some sort of, drive to keep running, to keep fighting, because there is an end. You already have a destination. But whereby you are running aimlessly, everybody is scattered, running, taking off for their lives, but there is no destination in place. There's no destination in mind. That's the height of hopelessness. That is the height of unbelievableness, if there's any word like that. You would see pictures and videos that people made of cattle, animals being protected, being escorted. These Fulani cattle were being escorted into the community by state security forces, by ambulances and security like cars, ordinary cattle, hundreds of them at a time, and these vehicles were driving slowly behind these animals, just to make sure that they are escorted safely into or out of the community without being attacked, without those cattle being attacked. And you're able to invest so much time and passion and care for common animals, for common cattle, but then nothing has been said by the governor, by the sitting governor, who happens to be an ordained reverend father. Nothing has been said about it. That lives, over 200 of your own people that elected you into power, were killed and displaced and their properties burned down. Your primary assignment as a leader is to protect lives and properties. Now these lives and properties have been brought down, reduced to nothing right under your own watch, and you have not done, your silence is deafening. You have not come out to empathize with the people. You have not said a word. Words are coming out saying that it is out of his reach. There is nothing he can do about it. It is out of his power. Who told you it is out of your power? You're able to empower animals to ensure the safety of cows, but the people that should matter more better than animals are being killed anyhow. Why? And then now on the streets there is protests. The youth have taken, because it is like at this point nobody cares about you. You have to do what you have to do by yourselves. You have to protect yourselves by yourselves. They have taken the streets, they have taken over the streets, over their capital, their state capital, to protest, to say they can't take this anymore. Maimings, killings, displacement in Benue State that used to be one of the peaceful, like, you can't, they just want to farm their thing and in peace. Just leave them to farm, leave them to do their things. They are not, they don't really want to be too wealthy, they don't want to be known, they don't want to be seen or heard, they just want to produce. And now you have turned their state into IDP camps. There are more than 20 IDP camps in Benue State alone. Initially, when these attacks began to happen in smaller communities, these people were from the smaller communities migrated, they packed up and they left to bigger cities, they left to Makurdi, they left to the capitals, like the commercial parts of the state. But now the attacks have entered, have gone beyond just the towns and villages alone. Now they've gone into cities, into Makurdi, to attack people. And instead of us to introspectively look as leaders, we are extending sympathy to people, to India, to Iran, to Iraq. How I really lack words, and I really lack words. I saw the video this morning. Would I say I regretted watching those videos? Yes, is the answer. I almost threw up. Like, how does this thing not matter to us, to our leaders? How does this not appeal to your conscience? How?
It was 10:50 in the evening. We saw Franny to our community with serious attack yesterday. There is so much places that they burn with people inside yesterday evening around 10 o'clock p.m. There is too much killing and too much of things. They killed people, over 200 above.
At night after the rain, between 10:50 p.m. This one is not suspected. It is Fulani that invaded our community. They came in quantum, they came in numbers. They burned down our places, killed people, burned houses with fuel. They burned children, burned crops, burned food, burned everything. In the process, we were able to even, our local vigilante, we were able to nab 2.
People have lost children, people have lost wives, they have lost. It is just only because these things have not happened to them, the high and mighty. That is why it's like everybody is still, when something doesn't affect you directly, you don't really know the impact it has. You don't really know how much people are suffering for the same things, because you cannot relate to their sufferings. That is why nobody says, okay, everybody should be affected, but empathize and put your foot on the ground. Let people know that you have their interest at hand. Let them see you make decisions that would comfort them, that would protect them, and let them see you stand and enforce these decisions. It's not enough to say, I order, I command. I saw a statement from the presidency that he hey, how did they word that thing? My orders must be enforced. What are you doing to make sure that these orders are enforced when you're not empathetic? Back in the days when things not even 1/10 of this gravity happened, you would see presidents and leaders cancelling their foreign trips if they were outside the shores of the country, and coming back, they would put a hold on whatever it is they are doing and come to that place where the people have been affected, just to show solidarity, to tell you that, yes, I'm with you in this. We are in it together. This one really is wowing me. This one is beyond my mind. It's beyond any human reasoning. Like, there is nobody that would think and say, how do you sleep? How do you sleep knowing that you got to a point where they say, okay, let's put up rules now that would come into law. You called a declaration of war, called it full-blown war, profiling that they are targeting people, and you began to do this to fellow human beings. Look, it's it's sickening. Enough of all this, because it started just like play, and it has gotten to this. But at the end of the day, who is to blame? Some people say it is all religious differences. Some people say it's politically motivated. Some people say it's youths taking the laws into their own hands. There is enough blame to go round, but who really is to blame? Is it the failed justice system, or the silence of government, or arms in the wrong hands? You give people arms, you renegade on your promises to them when you give them those arms, and then you don't retrieve those arms from them. Arms in the wrong hands. Wow. Nobody is held accountable. Nobody is talking. The government is silent. And then it empowers them more because they got away with the last one, they got away with the one before the last one, and they feel like, okay, it's just going to be the order of the day. Let's just keep at it. There's a human cost to all of this. There's a woman in Yelwata that has lost all her children. There are real people that are suffering. There are real people that have encountered, losses. Real humans behind all this show that you people are putting up. Show of who is more superior. Show of who owns the government, who owns the land, who is more important, cattle or animals. But there are people that are really suffering behind all these. Behind all these, there are people that are really suffering. There are people that can't go back to their villages, to the place they know as home. There are farmers that can't go back to their farmlands because it is just emptiness. It's a blur now for them. Nobody is there anymore. It reminds them of so much that they can't even go back to the things they do anymore. Benue is bleeding. Not just Benue alone. Kaduna is bleeding too. And it's Benue and Kaduna today. It can be Lagos, it can be Owerri, it can be Anambra, it can be Abuja tomorrow. It can be River State tomorrow. So what can we do? All we can do is speak up. You and I. Say a word. Share it. Give using correct information. Speak up. Don't give false claims. Don't give false data. Demand responsibility from our government, from our leaders. We can demand accountability from them. Speak up. Say something. Say something. Don't just get carried away by what bloggers want you to see. Trending irrelevant stories that don't affect you, that don't bring about any change. These things are just there for distractions, to take away the real essence of the things, the goings on now. This isn't just a Benue problem. It is a national crisis. And there's going to be ripple effects. It's going to snowball into worsening the standard of living, because if the factory is in distress, we won't have end products to use. It is not just a Benue problem. It is a national problem. If we stay silent, if we choose to ignore, if we do not speak up, who will talk when it's our turn? Who will talk when our doors are being kicked down? Tomorrow, next year, next 10 years. Who would speak up for us when our doors are being brought down and our house is raised down? We didn't speak 20 years ago, and that is why it has gotten to this. I'm really sad. It's really a triggering news. If you care about justice, if you care about peace, if you care about being your brother's keeper, if you care about truth, do me a favor, like this video, share this video, leave a comment. Let's just not scroll past the pain of our own people, the pain of our brothers and sisters and fathers. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. For now.